Hello, this is Brian. Today is Tuesday, November 7th, 2023, and I'm here in good old Doane Valley, Palomar Mountain State Park, here in North County, San Diego County. Beautiful Doane Pond right out here, spread before us. Right there's the parking day use area. Seems to be a lot of work going on around here today. Got here much earlier and no activity except for one person walking her dog. That was about it. So here we are in the meadow area of Palomar Mountain. Very beautiful meadow. One of a few larger meadows, and there are also some smaller meadows I think sprinkled around. So I'm just going to take a short walk around here and just appreciate the beauty of this. Did a hike earlier up to Booker Hill Lookout from the trailhead here down here. I hiked it, did the longer way to get to Booker Hill, or one of the longer ways. Pretty sure there are more ways you can do it and make it even longer. But I decided to try hiking Booker Hill from down here to get some elevation gain and a little bit more distance, make it more challenging. Beautiful day hike here. So here we are. Look at all of these cattails. There are a lot of cattails. And the air horn of an oversized truck. So when I was hiking back down, I hiked down the Doane Valley paved road. Wanted to vary up the scenery. Went up the Cedar Trail, Scott's Cabin Trail, and then the Spur Trail to Silvercrest Picnic area. Then hiked up the Booker Hill Trail to the Booker Hill Road to the top of Booker Hill where the lookout is. And then I went down the Booker Hill outbound road and then down Doane Valley Road to get back here. I made a nice figure 8 loop out of that. And as I was coming back, right before getting back to the trailhead, there were a couple of vehicles, work trucks, and a huge flatbed, oversized flatbed with some kind of a little cabin or tent, not tent, but shed on it. So I kind of cut through the backside of Doane Pond to get back. So I'm gonna have to wait a while before I can leave and go wherever else I want to go, because the road's impassable right now because of the work trucks. So may as well take that as a sign that I should stay a little longer and enjoy this wonderful place. Wow. We got some rushes here, and there's a plant you don't want to touch. Hoary nettle, Urtica dioica subspecies holoceracea. It'll give you a nice burning, stinging itch. So let's see. So we're going to cross the creek here, which I bet you is teeming with tadpoles in the spring and summer. Right now, it's mostly birds and fish now. So yeah, this goes back towards the parking area and the Cedar Trail. So I'm going to walk along this for a while. I don't really have a specific destination in mind, just another leg stretcher to enjoy this. So, Thunder Spring is less than a half a mile away, so let's go check it out. I hiked it, I think, once. I hiked along this way back in 2013, way before I even had a camera to take pictures. I didn't have a camera. I didn't start using a camera until 2014, and then start filming my hikes to a couple of years later than that. But let's check this out. Let's check out this beautiful spot here. Some big trees over here on this side. If you watch my Doane Valley to Booker Hill trail or hike, you'll probably see some of the large trees along the way, especially on the way back. Looks like we got some pretty huge white firs up ahead. And we still got some fall color all along here. All those yellow trees, those are all black oaks. Quercus kelloggi, all California black oaks. So that side's drier. That's a south-facing slope. So over there, it's mostly just oaks on that side. But I see a couple pines. This side of Palomar Mountain over here, there was only one pine tree I saw, and that was a coulter pine by the lookout. It was probably planted there. The lack of pines, which again does not mean lack of conifers, because there are a lot of white fir, incense cedar, and bighorn Douglas fir here. The reason for the prominence of those, the white fir, bighorn Douglas fir, and the incense cedar, is because of the lack of fire. Suppression of fire precludes the sun-needing pines from being able to establish. So the longer a forest is suppressed from fire, the longer it goes on, pine trees can't get established down here. So that's why this side of Palomar Mountain has a relative lack of pines. I look on this side here, this area looks like it has some fire recovery, some fire damage recovery, sporadically spruce or sprinkled in there. I did think I did see a coulter pine on the other side, but there's really not much pine action over here. Now, bighorn and Douglas fir and white fir are in the pine family, but they're much more shade tolerant trees. Much more shade tolerant trees. They can grow in the understory of a thick forest for much more time without needing to be out in the sun. Of course, once they are out in the sun, they shoot up like gangbusters and grow big, but they don't need it like the pines do, the pinus species. Yeah, I thought I saw, yeah, I see what looks like a coulter pine over there. Might be a few pines over there, but most of those conifers up there are white firs and incense cedars too, even on that side. And over here, we're really thickly forested with canyon live oak. So one thing about this trail here, a lot of canyon live oak around here. Lots of very luscious species too. Well, let me get back to you and get a picture or two. Alright, so here we are with a massive canyon live oak. This is a big one. Of course, if you take the Doane Valley Nature Trail down towards lower Doane Valley and take the other trail, I think it becomes a French Valley Trail if you keep on going, then you'll run into some much even larger than this. But this is a big canyon live oak. Good old Quercus chrysolipus. Very large tree. Now we're coming up on a humongous white fir. A pretty big black oak too. This is a Quercus kelloggi. Boy, there's a big white fir over here. Here we go. There's another pretty decent sized one here too. There's a pretty big one too. Well, here's a really big white fir. This one's very tall too. I saw it from down that way a little bit. I saw some really tall stuff poking out, and yeah, this is a big white fir right here. It's as big as some of the ones in the Sierra Nevada. See, I don't know if this is the exact same variety as the Sierra Nevada ones, or if this is the Rocky Mountain race. I'm a little confused because some people say our white fir is most closely related to the Sierra variety, Abies concolor variety Lowiana, and others say this is more closely related to the Rocky Mountain variety, Abies concolor variety concolor. So while I'm here in Southern California, I'm just calling them Abies concolor for now. If I'm in the Sierras, I call them variety Lowiana because I know what they are. But yeah, that's a big white fir. That's a very big tree. Girthy tree too. But anyway, get these beautiful canyon live oak forests here. Very beautiful. Yeah, this is absolutely astonishing. And of course, incense cedar. As I mentioned before, incense cedar, white fir, and big-cone Douglas fir forests tend to proliferate where there's less fire disturbance, as they are more shade tolerant. So once the sun comes out, the pines can germinate. There's a massive big-cone Douglas fir trunk. Unfortunately, it's no longer a living tree, but I think some of the big-cone Douglas firs have the widest, fattest trunks here in this area. That used to be a monster big-cone Douglas fir right there. Some of them were absolutely massive, massively large trees. And then you can hear the water. You can see the evidence that there's a lot of water here. A lot of thickets down there. And then yeah, these astonishingly beautiful canyon live oaks here, making this a very beautiful forestscape. We're on a north-facing slope too, so you can expect this stuff to be dense over here. But this is just absolutely incredible. Anybody who knows me knows I love canyon live oaks. And a lot of places canyon live oaks are multi-trunk trees, but here, a lot of these are single trunk trees. And there's a massive incense cedar over there too. I think I want to go just take a quick look. We got a Utah serviceberry over here. Yeah. Yeah. And this was in full fall color too. Sometimes most of the time they turn yellow, but I've seen them turn orange too in the San Bernardino Mountains. So yeah, this is a Utah serviceberry. And I think, not sure what that is right there. Underneath it, something else. But yeah. Look at these. These canyon live oaks are massive here. There's a humongous incense cedar coming up too. Gotta watch where I step because there's probably poison oak around here. But look at this nicely buttressed base on this canyon live oak right here. Quercus chrysolipus, the canyon live oak. Since this is more of a forest as opposed to more spaced out woodland, these trees tend to be more single trunked. A lot of times you'll find when they're multi-trunked and even bigger base, but this one's got a huge base on it though. It's even got a goose pen in there, which is a hollowed out portion of the trunk, hollowed out normally by fire. But yeah, this is a huge canyon live oak right here. Yeah. So I'm just gonna watch my step, make sure I don't step in poison oak. I see some up ahead, I think. I want to get to the base of this incense cedar really quickly. I just gotta take a look at this tree. This is a big one. Calocedrus decurrens. Yeah, this is a massive incense cedar over here. They do get large here at Palomar. I've seen it get pretty large, but this is a big incense cedar. It's probably about 150 feet tall. Yeah, that's a big tree. That's a big tree right there. Calocedrus decurrens, baby. That's awesome. But yeah, this is mostly broadleaf forest here, actually. Being canyon live oak being the dominant tree. Sprinkling with some California black oak and a few conifers here and there. This is mostly a broadleaf forest here. This is what we call a southern mixed evergreen forest. The predominant trees are evergreen leaf, like the live oaks. All right, well, I'm gonna get back on the track, catch you on the next clip, and we'll find that spring. All right, so now we're getting white alder over here on this rhombifolia, kind of shedding their leaves for winter. And then we get another massive canyon live oak right here. This is an absolute monster tree right here. This is a monster tree. Again, I've seen bigger bases on the ones on the other side to the west, but this is no joke. This isn't a completely multi-trunk tree here. These canyon live oaks are graceful trees too down here. A lot of places you probably see me hiking and they're kind of small and rugged, short and rugged, but these ones here are graceful and tall, sometimes even with slender crowns. This one's definitely more spread out, but what an absolutely delightful grove of canyon live oak here. I just cannot get enough of this. I cannot. Look at these. These are delightfully beautiful canyon live oaks. Incredible. So there's a big black oak in here too. I don't know if I can get a good visual on it because it's kind of hidden behind the canyon live oak over here. There's a big black oak in here too. Occasionally see them get pretty large too. Actually, I've seen here at Palomar Mountain, I've seen a couple of humongous black oaks. One of them's off of a really faded trail up ways from Fry Creek Campground in Cleveland National Forest, so it's not in the state park. But I've seen some massive black oak. There's a humongous black oak. It's the largest black oak I've ever seen to date over there. I tried to find it a second time, but I couldn't. But yeah, here's a black oak right here. That's a pretty big one too, but these canyon live oaks are stealing the show. I've got to be honest with you. When it comes to the size and the architecture of the trees, the canyon live oaks are really stealing the show. But yeah. And it's weird, a ridge or two away, it's all chaparral. It's weird. But, you know, Palomar Mountain has a humongous variety of microclimates and vegetation types. So, go around one corner, you'll be in chaparral and it'll be real dry and sunny. And you turn around, go around a corner, and boom, you get slammed in the face by visuals of huge trees just around the other side of a canyon wall. All right, now, still speaking of big trees, we got some monster white alders over here too. All in this rhombifolia. These are very large white alders, very girthy, girthier than I usually see them. Yeah, these are white alders right here. And wow, these are magnificent. Seems like Palomar Mountain is where things are supersized. See how these white alders are huge. Oh wow. Yeah, see, they shed their leaves for winter. You can see the leaves are flying off the trees. But that's, you know, they don't change color like oaks and other trees. They fall off when they're still predominantly green, or sometimes the color will dull a little bit. But I'm getting rained on by white fir needles and white alder leaves. There's another tree you got to look out for here at Palomar Mountain, especially when you're near riparian areas like this creek here. You get some pretty big white alders here in Palomar too. Some of the largest ones I've ever seen are here, but I've also seen a couple of huge ones over in Angeles National Forest too. I think the champion white alders actually in a canyon called Holcomb Canyon, not that far from Devil's Punch Bowl in Angeles National Forest. I don't know if that burnt down in the 2020 Bobcat fire, which would really not be cool. But I wouldn't be surprised if that tree burnt down. Look at this. Yeah, see, white alders really don't change color. They just start shedding their leaves when they're green. You see a lot of white alder leaves all over the ground here. Now we got I wonder what kind of rose this is. We have a couple different species of wild roses here in Palomar as well. So I actually have to go look at the fruit to see what species we have. Okay, this appears to be California rose, I think. Yeah, it says this has got to be California rose, Rosa californica, because you can see the top, you can see the old sepals from the flowers. Make a little star-shaped brown thing at the tip. See, if it were bald, this would be a different species. It would be Rosa gymnocarpa, variety gymnocarpa, which does grow here at Palomar Mountain. I don't think it's very common here in Southern California, but you don't see those sepals on top of those dried sepals on top of the fruit. So again, you can see the star-shaped sepal here gives this away as Rosa californica. Now there might be Rosa gymnocarpa, variety gymnocarpa here as well. You're not going to see those little sepals on the fruit. They're bald. Gymnocarpa, naked fruit, no sepals. So that's one thing to look out for. If you see rose hips that don't have sepals on them, and you're looking at Rosa gymnocarpa, variety gymnocarpa. So I've yet to see it, or at least knowingly see it, but I will definitely keep my eyes out if I come across it. Probably be an instant spotlight video too. And a Sierra Currant, Ribes nevadense. Here we go. Summertime, these bad boys will have little blue fruits on them, blue currants. Pretty beautiful. And here we are, back in the Big Canyon live oaks. Look at this. Here's another single trunk monstrosity. And when I say monstrosity, I mean it in a positive, endearing sense. Because it's a big tree. Another huge single trunk one here. Has height too. Has height and girth. You know it's big when it has both. You know it's a humongous tree. Wow. You know, these white fir trees here are very tall trees. They're not really girthy trees because they're not old, but they're growing in this densely packed forest, so they get taller. Also because it's a lot moister here. North-facing slope, one of the wettest parts of San Diego County, one of the wetter parts of Southern California for that matter. Anywhere between 30 and 40 inches of rain a year, parts of Palomar get. Assuming this is probably one of the wettest parts, because this is where stuff is lush. Try to see if I pass the spring. Hoping to see it. Okay, so what do we have growing over here? Got a couple things going on. All right. Looks like we got creek dogwood. One of two species of dogwoods growing here. This is Corniceracea subspecies occidentalis. Creek dogwood. It used to be known as Cornistolonifera red osier dogwood. Red osier alluding to the reddish color of the twigs as you see here. So it used to be known as Cornistolonifera before reassigned to Corniceracea. And of course ours is a more western subspecies of it, so subspecies occidentalis. Okay, so we got creek dogwood. Of course we got coffee berry here again. It's like Frangula californica tomatella. And then one plant I've seen many times, but never the right season, is Rhododendron occidentale, Western azalea. Now, I've heard that there's been a recent move to separate Western azalea into subspecies. In other words, divide it into subspecies. So if that were to be the case, ours would be the California subspecies. This would be Rhododendron occidentale subspecies californicum, if that were to become the case. So I always miss it in bloom. I've never seen this plant in bloom. It's supposed to have very spicy, fragrant white flowers with some yellowish color, like a big yellow splotch somewhere on the flower. I've yet to catch it in bloom. I've seen it when the leaves change color in autumn, but I never catch it in bloom. Here's hoping that in 2024, I catch it in bloom and make a spotlight video. I'm hoping. So let's see. I think that was Thunder Spring right there. So let's see. Watching out because some poison oak's getting close to the trail here. Don't want to touch it. Oh, I can smell the white alder. The smell of white alder wafting up from down below in the canyon bottom. Now we're breaking down to white fir. Now it's turning into predominantly white fir over here. So we're breaking out of the live oaks and into a grove of white firs over here. Yeah, I think the reason why the canyon live oaks are so large here is because we're closer to the canyon bottom. So I noticed when I was looking up the hill, up the gullies and slopes, they started getting smaller. Oh, here's another Sierra currant. Here's a beauty. Ribes nevadense. And of course, this is kind of thing where I'm going to turn around. It's overgrown with poison oak over here. It's all poison oak. So I think this will probably be my turnaround point. I don't feel like rubbing my pants on that. Yeah, it's very overgrown with poison oak over here. Very overgrown. I wasn't planning on making a full-blown hike, but I had to get some footage of this. Thunder Spring Trail. Very beautiful trail here. Yeah, so like I said, this area looks like it had a fire probably about 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, you can see a lot of dead white fir snags. Probably about 15, 16 years ago. I think there were fires in the area in 2007, I believe. And I can see some marine layer clouds starting to lift and scrape the mountain. I can see some clouds moving there. Some low stratus clouds. But yeah, so this area's opened up after the fires. Doesn't seem to be a lot of white fir recruitment over here. Not a lot of young white firs. I don't really see too many of those. Yeah, I don't think so. No, I don't really see any white fir saplings. I'm kind of surprised. White firs are usually colonizing everywhere. But I guess with the droughts in between, probably made it a little less favorable for them to reproduce, especially out in the sun like that. But fire's been so suppressed for so long. Normally you'd see pine trees like Jeffrey, ponderosa, coulter pine. You'd see them colonizing, but they've been excluded from the forest so long. Their seeds would have to carry over from ridges away. Probably have to go a couple ridges away to get to the pine trees. There are pine trees here at Palomar, believe me, there are. And some very large ones too. But here, you kind of have to go into some more open areas that have been disturbed by fire. Areas that are more open, not as densely packed as this is here, to really get into that kind of bit. So, all right, I'm gonna start working my way back, and I think I might get in the car and drive. If the road's cleared of all the workers, the road's clear, I can hoof it out of here. Maybe go up to the Cleveland National Forest portion of Palomar. Maybe shoot some video in that area as well, because there's a lot to see here. So a nice chunk of the way back. All these young white firs. Natural Christmas trees that I don't want to see anybody ever cutting down. Just enjoy them. Just enjoy them where they are growing. Ooh. I don't know if that's a seedling or a sprout. I don't even know if this was an oak or a conifer. I think this was an oak. It might have been a seedling though. I can get an annoying spot there. And right there is the school campground. That's where I went for 6th grade. Tomorrow will be 30 years ago to the date when I first came here. First time, 11 and a half years old. It'll be the first time I ever came to Palomar. I was a kid living and growing up in Claremont in San Diego, the neighborhood of Claremont. Took the long bus ride from my Walt Whitman Elementary School, which is just a couple of short blocks from my house. I used to walk to school as a kid. Yep. Spent 5 days and 4 nights enjoying Palomar Mountain as a kid. It was a wonderful time. I remember, ooh, hold up, Western Vervain still blooming. Verbena lacciostachys, right? Lacciostachys, still blooming. Yeah, I remember the first day or two was sunny and warm with cold overnight lows, and then the last midway into it was kind of foggy and overcast, and then at the end of it we were walking. I had to walk up the road to the buses. I think the buses dropped us off at Silvercrest picnic area, which is near where the parking toll booth is. Where you can park and put your fee in. And the Silvercrest is just about 100 feet up. And I remember we had to walk up the road it was a combination of rain and sleet. It was raining and sleeting. We were hiking. We had to hike up the paved road to the buses. For some reason, we had to hike up there, which is weird, but it was beautiful. It was foggy, overcast, and it was a wintry mix. That was the first time I ever experienced wintry weather. It was raining and sleeting. Okay, so let's talk about rose hips. So we're looking at California rose here still. Again, those little sepals on the tips of the fruits are the giveaway. So this is Rosa californica. So I gotta find out where Rosa gymnocarpa grows. I gotta find that one. I'd love to get a spotlight video on that one day. But yeah, I'm just about to finish getting my way back. So that'll be the end of this hiking video. It's a short video, or shorter video, or shorter hike. But just about back at Dome, right next to Dome Pond right now. Some arroyo willow changing color over here. See yellow leaves on the ground. I can just smell the balsam aroma of the beautiful white alder and the gray trunks. I've always loved alder trees. Always been fascinated by alder trees. More Sierra currant over here. So this is about to wrap up this hike and video. There's the canyon live oak by the picnic bench. There's a picnic bench over there by that canyon live oak. I'm gonna get ready to maybe explore some other areas before heading home. It's gonna be probably about an hour and 45-minute drive ahead of me. I live we're in the southern half of San Diego County, but it's worth it. Oh, western chokecherry. pretty cool. All right. So we're gonna get ready to go through this willow thicket here. Yeah, I gotta find out where Rosa gymnocarpa, variety gymnocarpa grows. I gotta find it. I'm gonna look on CalFlora and start trying to voucher. Here we are, Utah serviceberry, Amelanchier utahensis. This is a cedar trail, so I took to. That's the first trail I took to get up to Booker Hill. And here is beautiful Dome Pond. So I started by looping around. So this is a balloon loop. So I went around that side and then came back on this side. So made a nice little balloon loop out of this one. So the parking lot is just beyond this little thicket of trees here. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this little tour of the Thunder Springs Trail here at Palomar Mountain State Park, North San Diego County. I will see you on the next hike. Hopefully next week I can get my butt up early and get into something epic too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.